All right, let's dive right into this fascinating shift happening right under our noses. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're uncovering a completely silent revolution that is literally transforming the Indian countryside. You know, we hear a ton about green energy. Usually it's all solar panels and wind turbines, right? But there is a totally different kind of energy boom happening in the fields of states like Bihar. It's an incredible story of how a simple shift in fuel policy is completely rewriting the financial destiny of everyday farmers.
Now, take a look at this number, 13 lakhs. And here's the crazy part. These aren't stock market returns, and it's definitely not some lucky crypto gamble. This is pure profit generated by a farmer just growing maize for biofuel. Raman Kumar Rahi, a 52-year-old farmer living near the historically flood-prone Kosi River, put about 8 lakh rupees into his 20-acre farm. And within just 6 months, he walked away with 13 lakhs in profit. I mean, his initial investment almost doubled in just half a year. That's huge. So to understand exactly how this is even possible, we're going to break it all down. We'll look at the yellow gold rush, exactly how ethanol is made, the policies driving the boom, how we're turning trash into treasure, and finally, the global ethanol blueprint.
All right, Section 1, the yellow gold rush, or going from annodatas, our traditional food providers, to urgedatas, our new energy providers. This is where the paradigm shift really happens for these farmers, because it basically removes that constant fear of price crashes. You see, previously, if a farmer had a great monsoon and an amazing crop yield, that sudden oversupply would just tank the market price. Maize was mostly being sold for poultry feed or, cornflakes. But now, these ethanol factories are running 365 days a year to meet the country's fuel blending targets. They have a literally endless appetite for these crops. So maize isn't just food anymore. It's practically yellow gold. And because of that endless demand, prices have surged. This is allowing farmers, like 61-year-old Arvind Singh, to pull in a profit of around 40,000 rupees per acre. To put that into perspective, he's in a state where the annual per capita income is roughly 84,000 rupees. Just think about that math for a second. Back in 2010, maize was struggling to even fetch 800 rupees a quintal. Now, thanks to the ethanol plants, that price has more than doubled, bringing a level of wealth to these rural areas that was honestly unimaginable a decade ago.
And this isn't just, dry macroeconomic data on a spreadsheet. It is tangibly uplifting rural communities. When a farmer's income surges like this, the whole local economy surges right along with it. People are literally trading in their bicycles for motorbikes, they're upgrading their homes, and experiencing a real tangible leap in their daily quality of life. Moving on to Section 2, how ethanol is made. Let's look at the actual science and mechanics of biofuel.
So, how exactly are everyday crops turning into fuel for your car? Well, the magic ingredient here is starch. Starch is abundantly found in our daily food grains, making them absolutely perfect for this process. Basically, through fermentation and distillation, the starches and sugars trapped inside these plants are converted into commercial-grade ethanol. And when you blend that with traditional petrol, it burns cleaner and directly reduces our reliance on purely fossil-based fuels. It's a win-win.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer variety of sources we can use. This boom is definitely not just restricted to sugarcane farmers. While sugarcane yields about 70 to 75 liters of ethanol per ton of molasses, look at maize. It's delivering a massive 380 to 400 liters. And rice is even more impressive. Using broken rice or even spoiled rice sitting in government godowns that humans literally can't eat, these plants can extract up to 480 liters per ton. They're even using things like cassava, spoiled wheat, and millet.
But as you can see right now, maize is the undisputed king. It's powering nearly half of the entire country's ethanol production at 45%. Sugarcane follows at 27%, and rice makes up a solid 22%. By diversifying what crops we use, the economic benefits get spread out across all sorts of different agricultural regions, not just the traditional sugar belts.
All right, Section 3, policies driving the boom. Because as great as free markets are, sometimes they need a strong structural push to get the ball rolling. Take a look at the impact of Bihar's 2021 ethanol production policy. It was immediate, and it was massive. It essentially propelled the state to become the third largest maize producer in the entire country, right behind Karnataka. In just a few short years, production leaped from 3 million tons to almost 5.5 million tons. And let me tell you, that was no accident.
The government aggressively incentivized infrastructure to lay the groundwork for a highly localized biofuel economy. Under this first-of-its-kind policy back in 2021, the state basically handed out huge capital subsidies. We're talking up to 5 crore rupees for plant and machinery. Plus, they completely wiped out stamp duty and land conversion fees. Because of this super inviting environment, 22 operational ethanol plants just sprang up across the state. Suddenly, farmers had a massive hyper-local buyer for everything they could grow.
And here's the kicker. This boom isn't just a win for the farmers. It's creating incredible entrepreneurial opportunities in logistics, storage, and trading right at the village level. Take Parth Chauhari, for example. He's a 28-year-old MBA grad from IIM Kozhikode who quit his high-paying corporate job in Gurgaon, moved back to his village, and built 4 small godowns to buy maize directly from the local farmers. He started with about 48 lakhs, scaled his procurement from 300 to 1,200 tons in just 1 year, and now he's sitting on a business valued at 2.5 crores with a 15% net profit margin. Simply incredible.
Let's move to Section 4, Trash to Treasure, looking at the 2G technology leap. This part solves a major environmental and economic problem at the exact same time. With 4 commercial 2G plants already running and more demo plants in the works, farmers are finally getting paid for the very agricultural waste they used to just burn or throw away. We all know about the severe air pollution issues caused by burning rice stubble and crop residue, right? Well, this technology fundamentally flips the script by creating a literal market for that exact waste.
By monetizing this waste, 2G ethanol technology takes an environmental hazard and turns it into a direct income source. And this expands the financial benefits of the ethanol revolution to almost every type of farmer out there. You don't have to grow maize or sugarcane to get a piece of the pie anymore. If you have leftover agricultural biomass, you now have something valuable to sell. It's just a brilliant alignment of ecological preservation and economic growth.
Finally, Section 5, the Global Ethanol Blueprint. We'll look at places like Brazil and the USA to see how this plays out on a larger scale.
Because this isn't some unproven experiment, right? Nations like Brazil and the US have already turned their farmers into massive energy suppliers. In Brazil, vehicles often run on up to 100% pure ethanol, and the industry pumps $33 billion into their economy every single year. And in the US, despite having massive domestic oil reserves, they are actually the world's largest ethanol producer, projecting over 6,200 crore liters this year, overwhelmingly from maize. Plus, major auto manufacturers like Toyota, Suzuki, and Hyundai are already building these flex fuel engines for the global market.
So what does this mean back home? Well, instead of sending billions to oil-rich nations, we've already redirected around 40,000 crore rupees directly into the pockets of our own farmers. And on a national level, the foreign exchange savings are absolutely staggering. We're talking nearly 2 lakh crore rupees saved by simply not having to import that equivalent amount of crude oil. That is wealth staying inside our borders, circulating right there in the local rural economy.
With major domestic auto companies like Maruti and Hero launching flex fuel vehicles, the local demand for ethanol is virtually guaranteed to skyrocket over the coming decades. This explains exactly why farmer leaders like Kurubuyuru Shantakumar in Karnataka are fiercely advocating to protect and expand these blending policies. It secures their financial future. While there might be some short-term hiccups getting older vehicles to adapt, if you zoom out 30, 40, or 50 years, it shows an undeniably massive, guaranteed domestic market for our farmers. Which brings us to a really powerful thought to leave you with today. If the fuel of the future actually grows right in our fields, are our farmers the ultimate key to true energy independence? It completely reframes how we should view the agricultural sector going forward, doesn't it? They aren't just feeding the nation anymore, they are literally fueling it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If this changed how you look at the fields you drive past, I'd love to know what you think. Until next time, stay curious.